Welcome to the Port City Plate Podcast, presented by Bienville Bites Food Tour. The Port City Plate Podcast is a podcast serving up the food, history, and people of Mobile, Alabama for people who love the Port City. I'm your host, Chris Andrews, and we have finally reached the month of January. And that means one thing in Mobile, and that's king cake season. And 12th night, January 6th, is behind us, and the king cakes shall officially commence, and the Carnival season can begin here in Mobile. And today on the podcast, we're talking all things king cake. We've got Mandee Conkle and Aimee Risser with us. Mandee and Aimee, they're the organizers of a really fun event that's coming up in a few weeks called the 2023 King Cake Off. And Mandee is, along with her husband and my friend Brooks Conkle, are owners of the Mobile Rundown. And then Aimee is the director at Big Brothers Big Sisters, and which I'm also a big as well. So excited to have both of y'all on the podcast. Welcome to the Port City Plate Podcast.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, I'm excited. And so we'll start off. Mandee, like I said, you and Brooks run the Mobile Rundown.
That's right.
How did that get started?
Yeah, so the story behind it, I wasn't involved in the beginning of it, but about 11 years ago, Brooks and a friend of his missed an event in downtown Mobile. I think it was like a crawfish something or other. Anyway, they missed the event, and they said, this can never happen again. And a newsletter was created that went out to just, at the time, I think it was like 50 people, 50 email addresses that they had with what's going on in Mobile. And fast forward, here we are, almost 11 years later, sending out an email every week with everything going on, and we've expanded that a little too. But yeah, we've been around for a minute.
Yep, y'all done a good job promoting, and I agree.
Thank you.
Everybody talks about there's nothing to do in Mobile, or I think they really just miss it. That's what it is.
Yes.
They miss the communication of the events.
Absolutely, and I think that just, it's so easy to get your information from so many different sources, and most places are promoting their own events versus promoting all the events going on in downtown or in and around the Mobile area. So we are glad to be that resource.
Yep, awesome. Well, we've got the King Cake Off coming up. Tell us about the 2023 King Cake Off.
So the 2023 King Cake Off will be taking place on Friday, January 27th at the Mobile Civic Center Expo Hall. This year we will be an evening event again from 5 p.m. until 7:30 p.m. And it is your opportunity to kick off the Mardi Gras season before the first parade with king cake, all things king cake. We have vendors that will have traditional king cake. We will have vendors that will have king cake inspired treats. We have vendors who will have merchandise, kids activities, anything you can think of.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
How long have y'all been doing this? When did it get started?
This is our 5th year.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I know the first year, you started small. Now, you're at the Mobile Civic Center.
Right.
I think it's a testament to the success of the King Cake Off. What kind of success? What do you think has led people to want to come out to this event every year?
You know what? My heart tells me that Mobile, we know we started this, and we know that we can party just as hard as the New Orleans crew, but we did start Mardi Gras, and so I think really just knowing that it is a hometown thing and knowing that this is something that really is just, it was almost like a needed event. Like, how can you not have a king cake event before Mardi Gras? So New Orleans actually did do something similar for years and years, and it just so happened that their event ended, and they are no longer doing that when ours started here in Mobile. So our first event was down at the Azalea Manor, and we maxed out at 250 attendees, and we had sold out before the event began, and so it's just gone from there. And this year we are expecting between 1,000 or 1,250. The more the merrier.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So it's at the Mobile Civic Center, Expo Hall. What's that going to look like? I know last year it was at the Temple, and it got a little packed. So how's it going to look this year?
So we are so excited. We have a completely new layout. We have so much more space. And most importantly, this is like the most important thing I want people to know, is free parking at the Civic Center. And so you park and you walk in. You don't have to park somewhere downtown. Just overall, we are thrilled to be in that space.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
Another cool thing about the King Cake Off is you not only support local king cake bakers, but you're also supporting local nonprofit. and Big Brothers Big Sisters.
I think that's the best part of it.
I think so too. So Aimee, tell us about Big Brothers Big Sisters and the partnership with King K Golf.
Absolutely. Well, we were so honored last year to get a phone call from the Mobtown crew asking us to partner with them to be their charity of choice, to be the beneficiary moving forward of the King K Golf. And we partnered, we participated. It was so much fun. And, to say that it was packed at the temple is kind of an understatement. I mean, we had 500 people walk up that day, but it was great, just the energy. And that was one of our priorities as an organization. We were looking for an event in January, at the beginning of the year. January is also National Mentoring Month, to help increase awareness about our brand, about our cause, about ways to get involved in the community to make a difference. So the timing of the partnership was just beautiful, and to have so much fun doing good should be criminal. Thankfully, it's not. But anyway, so we're super excited, and we're in this to win it together. And the fact that all the money we raise benefits our mission and will support us serving more children and families here locally, I really do think is, I would say the cherry on top, but it seems like it should be like the baby on top, or the icing on top. But you get the idea. It's just a really, really good partnership.
What are some things that you're doing at Big Brothers Big Sisters? Like what when you say we're going to fund y'all's mission, what are kind of things are y'all doing?
Yeah, well, the core of what we do, which is where the rubber hits the road, I feel like on any social cause, any social change people want to see, is our traditional one-to-one, long-term mentoring relationships, our friendships that we create. I think, and research proves again and again, we're about to have a major new study come out to show for the second time only, we're the first organization that 2 times will be proven to truly be life-changing. And so that's our core. Long-term one-on-one, you're a big brother, I'm a big sister. We know what that looks like. But that cost for us to do background screenings, the trainings you went through, the amazing experiences we create for our bigs and littles in our community, across our community, that cost. But it's our commitment that it does not cost our families, our volunteers, and our littles, and any of our partnering agencies that refer to us.
Right.
So we have to raise those funds. And honestly, our funding dictates how many families and children will serve more than anything any given year. Although, coming post-pandemic, volunteers, that used to never be an issue. And I think people are really trying to prioritize and figure out what is important to them and think about how they want to give back in the community. And we're really hoping to elevate our cause as a meaningful way to do that. So anyway, so there's lots of winning. The funds support what we do, the awareness from the community, just learning about Big Brothers, Big Sisters, and knowing who we are, and that you don't have to be a perfect person to be a mentor. Almost don't even want to talk about mentoring. I feel like people think, I need a mentor. Yep. We always all need a mentor, throughout our lives. But, if they just think about, what can I do that's kind? What is the most basic act of kindness I can do? Well, help someone that you don't know and show up and just be present. And so I'm trying to break it down a little bit so it's not so daunting to think of like, I've got to mentor.
That's right.
I have all the answers.
You're getting a new friend. I mean,
yeah.
It's pretty much, you're not, it's more than, mentoring I think is the wrong definition.
Maybe. I know, but that's what happens.
Yeah.
It's a friendship. It's a life-changing relationship. I think we both would argue for everyone involved.
Yeah.
We hope to help our littles, but we get so much out of it ourselves. And so
100%.
We need to bring more people into this mix. And we hope that the King Cake off will help elevate our need in the community and just a way for people to connect with us.
Yep. Awesome. What kind of vendors are going to be at the King Cake Off this year?
We are thrilled about who we have on the lineup this year. And also, too, and we still have time if you're a baker or grocery store or a home baker, you have time to register to be a part of this event as well. But, okay, so one of my favorites, Greer's. I feel like people forget that Greer's, local bakery, they do king cakes. They're amazing. We're thrilled to have Post this year. They will be doing a king cake inspired treat. And places you wouldn't expect, like Smoothie King. Smoothie King has a Mardi Gras smoothie. So a lot of diversity. But yeah, we are definitely growing that vendor list every year.
Okay, that's cool. I like that.
Yeah.
But what about what kind of different king cakes? I mean, it's not just traditional, cream-filled king cakes, right?
Right. Yeah. Oh man, the definition for a traditional king cake, and then what some of our bakers do, it's a little questionable. Is it if it's raspberry filled or pecan praline or what? But we have all types. And then when it comes to the king cake inspired treats that our vendors provide, we have had cupcakes, we have had cookies, we have had cake balls. We were all talking here earlier about Hall's sausage.
Yep.
They do a savory sweet king cake sausage ball, which is
a good one.
Delicious. So yeah, just a lot of diversity there.
Have you seen any success stories over the last few years? Somebody who started small and kind of worked their way up, and now they're kind of a well-known king cake baker
Yes.
in Mobile.
I am so glad that you asked that. Yes. So I will give a shout out to Lacey Evans. She came to us last year as an indie baker, which means she was a home baker. She did not have a commercial kitchen, and she came to us for that division. So she just brought one sample size of her cake. And this year, she will be participating as her bakery, which is Dropout. It's located downtown by the Innovation Portal. If you get a chance to go by in there, she is an amazing success story, and she can make a cake. I can tell you that.
I can vouch for that. I had a her king cake last year, and it was phenomenal.
Right. Yeah.
So even if you're not a baker, you can be a home baker and still enter the king cake off.
Absolutely. You do not have to have a commercial kitchen.
Okay. And they're a different category, so you don't have to prepare a million king cakes out of your home.
Right. So the indie baker division is the home baker division, and you just bring one king cake, and you will not be having to sample it to the public like the other vendors. But judges do get a sample of your cake, and that is how it's judged.
Okay, that's good. That's good. If for some crazy reason somebody shows up and they don't like king cake,
Ooh.
what can they do? Are there anything that will they be able to participate in any kind of way?
Oh, absolutely. Since we're at the expo hall, it's great that we'll have concessions. So we'll have other food besides king cake inspired, king cake cocktails, king cake, everything king cake. So if someone shows up, which we will not judge that person, we will welcome that person because they are still supporting the cause and the greater good. But there will be other food opportunities. So that's good. Great question. And tons of kids activities too. We do talk about all this, but this is a family-friendly event. I think that's one thing last year that I was most surprised about, because I tried to go just as an adult. I was like, that craft cocktail always appealed to me. I never could get a ticket. And so I was really pleasantly surprised with the families that came out, and we're having so much fun. I mean, just being a youth serving organization, that really just struck a chord with me that, families could come and everyone in the family could have a great time. So.
Everybody gets a sugar coma.
Yes. Everybody leaves and goes to bed.
Exactly.
I brought my family out last year, and we enjoyed it. I remember there was like a photo booth.
Yes.
And there were different kids' activities. Yeah. And so, it is definitely a very good family-friendly event.
And great music. We always have great music. One or two different musicians. We just line those up. And so it's just a great night. We're partnering with Third Realm, which holds a space in there we'll be able to use their video. I don't even know what you call it. That
like
screen.
Virtual reality.
Yes. So we're super excited to be partnering with them. Yeah. So that bigger space really allows a lot of flexibility and freedom in how we're going to lay it out, give everybody more space that we still hope we fill up. But I think there'll be plenty to do in 2.5 hours. I'm afraid it's just going to fly by.
Yes,
it will.
It does, yes.
Yeah. A big question for somebody like myself is, can you go back and get seconds?
Absolutely. Your ticket gets you as much bread and sugar as you can possibly sustain.
All right, good. So until it sells out,
yes.
you can go back for your favorites.
Yeah, and the exciting thing about it this year, with us being at the Civic Center and being able to have more vendors and more space and more people, if we have to shut the doors of a sellout, I will be shocked. It's a massive space. I don't know how many square foot. The expo hall,
I'm not sure.
It's huge.
Yeah.
So, hey, if we sell out, that would be fantastic. But just a much better conducive venue for sure.
Mm-hmm. Who are some past winners that you can give a shout out to that?
Yeah, absolutely.
And then maybe we can expect again this year too.
Yeah, no. So the main two, and if you've come to the event in the past, you will know these names. And if you are a Mobilian, you will know some of these as well. So Warehouse Bakery across the bay has been a winner every single year for their traditional king cake. It is good. It is fabulous. So we're hoping to have them back again this year. And then for our non-traditional category, Cammie's Old Dutch ice cream just takes it every time. And if you've ever had the ice cream, you understand why. It's amazing. So yeah, we're super thrilled for sure to have Cammie's back again this year.
Okay, good. Yeah, those are some good ones. So how can we buy tickets? How can you buy tickets to the 2023 King Cake Off? How can you become a vendor if it's not too late to become a vendor?
KingCakeOff.com. Everything, whether you do want to become a vendor as a food vendor or a merchandise vendor, if you want to buy tickets, if you want to sponsor. We're so excited this year for the first time to have a presenting sponsor, which is PNC Bank. Great partner. So proud to have them along on this journey with us. But there's a lot of other sponsorship opportunities available as well. And so everything is at KingCakeOff.com. So visit it. You can learn more about Big Brothers, Big Sisters, figure out how you want to plug in, attend. Our prices, we had early bird prices until January 1st. So, but now they're still so reasonable. I mean, really, it's like $5 for a child, 10 and under, $15.
Yeah.
So, Chris,
and free
$15.
Yeah, you can't beat that.
No, you can't beat that. To go and taste all these amazing treats from all of our local bakers and support them and know where you want to go buy king cakes from to give as gifts for the rest of the carnival season. I mean, that's what all of our vendors have the chance to do is say, hey, come discover me and buy from me.
Yep.
This carnival season, next carnival season. That's what's really fun is it helps people broaden the bakeries that they know of in our community.
Yeah.
I learned somebody new every year. Like Halls was new to me last year. I was like, what is this amazing sweet and savory thing? But now I know about them. And I've lived here forever. And so I think that's a real benefit of the vendors participating and showcasing whether they win or not.
Yeah.
Just introducing themselves to our community and what, unique treats they have to offer.
Absolutely. All right, so I'm going to buy my tickets as soon as we stop the podcast. I'm going to go buy mine. So y'all go buy your tickets, KingCakeOff.com. I'm sure it only takes a few minutes, a few clicks and stuff like that. So, all right, y'all do a great job with that. I'm excited about the event, and it's going to be another successful year, and I'm excited about it.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to transition to the next segment of the podcast where we're going to keep talking about king cake. And I thought we would just talk about some of maybe our favorite king cakes around Mobile, and not just king cakes, but king cake drinks, and like you mentioned, cupcakes, and there's a lot of different, people have gotten really creative over the last few years when it comes to king cake. But I thought it would only be appropriate if we talked about the history of king cake and how it kind of got started. A king cake it's the official food symbol of Mardi Gras, and it's a pastry that celebrates 12th night, the 12th night of Christmas, January 6th. Which was also it's also symbolizing the arrival of the three kings to Jesus' birth. Now, the first king cakes started in France, and really they were nothing more than just a bread. Not really a cake. It was more considered a bread than a cake. A long tradition in France was to put a token or a coin inside the bread, and if you found that token, you would be declared the king or queen of the party. And, of course, nowadays, that's kind of transitioned into a baby, symbolizing baby Jesus, which they would put inside the king cake. Now, even more modern days, they put the king cake on top. I mean, the baby on top, so you don't swallow it and the king cake bakers get sued. But a true king cake is only able to be purchased and eaten between 12th night and Mardi Gras Day. So I know it's, well, if you break that rule, of course, chances are that it's going to rain on Mardi Gras. That's always been the myth, So I know it's kind of enticing when the supermarket chains put out those king cakes, January 1st. You're not supposed to eat them between January 1st and January 6th. So January 6th is official king cake. So don't ruin Mardi Gras and eat those king cakes before January 6th. Now, some of my favorite king cakes, traditional king cakes, have been Pullman's, of course. Pullman's is kind of the original king cake of Mobile. I know they started in like the 1950s, and they were the first bakery in Mobile to start serving king cakes. Last number I read was 10,000 a year is how many they put out, which is just insane. And that's always a good one. What are some of y'all's favorite traditional king cakes?
Man, okay, I would like to take a moment of silence for the Atlanta Bread Company king cake. They are no longer in business in Mobile, but let me tell you, I personally,
rest in peace.
Yes, rest in peace, and we miss you.
Yep.
That personally has always been my number one.
I know, that definitely left a void.
Yeah, it did.
I always enjoyed, as well, Lighthouse, going down to Dauphin Island. I know in the years past at Bienville Bites, we've done a party like a Mobilian box, which is a king cake that we put in a box, and we've shipped it out across the country. And Lighthouse is who we've used for that, and they've always done an awesome job. Those king cakes are so good. So that's always been a favorite of mine too. Amy, what about you?
Mine was Pullman's.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, but I'm open every year to discover someone new that I love.
And last year at the king cake off, Greer's went really to the top of my list last year.
Yeah.
That was the first time I'd had Greer's was last year.
Yeah, people forget it's a local bakery, and
Yep.
they do an amazing job.
Yep, and they have a lot of different flavors. You mentioned like the pecan praline,
There's a
cream cheese.
blueberry,
Yep.
cream cheese, strawberry, anything you really can imagine, and
What's the date of today?
Why are we not eating king cake now?
We gotta hold
I know.
out 2 more days.
We should have a table full of king cakes here. That would have been appropriate.
It's okay. We cannot be the cause of rain on Mardi Gras.
That's right.
Our bigs and littles riot in the floral parade. We cannot do that.
Yep.
Sunshine every day.
That's right. So we'll hold out. But boy, I'm ready.
Another one that's been popular has been the coffee shops. They've been doing a lot of different king cake lattes and stuff like that. I know my friends out at Mocha's in Saraland. They do a good job with the king cake latte and the king cake fraps and stuff like that too.
PJ's participated last year and did a king cake coffee at the event.
Okay.
Which I very much needed at the end of the night.
Yep, for sure.
It was great.
Yeah.
Y'all mentioned Posts earlier.
Yes.
What's Post? What are they doing?
They have not officially announced exactly what they are doing for the competition yet, so it'll be a surprise to you guys as well, for us as well. And mentioning coffee, Yellowhammer.
Yeah.
Yellowhammer, if you're listening, they do an amazing job, just like Mocha's as well. I mean,
Yep.
their selection for Mardi Gras inspired coffee is to die for.
I saw they posted their menu a couple days ago,
Yep.
and it was full. It was a long menu of their different king cake drinks that they have.
Well, and I would be remiss. Our office is above Certus. So
Okay,
I love
yep.
when I see that menu out front. I'm like, oh, what will I do today?
The king cake drinks, I think, are acceptable before January 6th.
Okay.
I think those will be acceptable.
I actually have had one, so thank you. Yeah. Oh, I forgot about that. That's
So
hilarious.
that won't ruin it. Another favorite of mine, I think, is the Bushwhacker at Moe's, the king cake Bushwhacker at Moe's.
So
It's always been a good one.
Yep.
And there's also some healthy alternatives to king cake. Gunkle's
Yes.
Bakery,
Yes.
gluten-free king cake for those of you who have to have a gluten-free diet.
And it tastes the same, honestly. They do an amazing job there.
I haven't had that one, so
Try it out.
yep. Okay, that's a good one. Cupcakes, I was thinking of cupcakes. Bake My Day.
Yeah. Pretty good.
Yep.
Pretty fantastic.
And then, of course, you mentioned the ice cream, which is Cammy's,
Cammy's. And let's not forget to mention Bluebell. So Bluebell will be participating again this year as well. And I'm telling y'all, if you have a handful of Bluebell and a handful of Cammy's, it is hard to say which is the best. I mean, Cammy's does a fantastic job, and she is a local bakery, and we love her, or creamery. But that Bluebell,
I haven't had the Bluebell.
you haven't had
No,
that?
I haven't had the Bluebell.
I think it's in stores now.
Okay.
So, yeah, check it out.
The ice cream, I think, that's acceptable before January 6th also.
Good. We're going to go ahead and define history today.
We're just making it up as we go. Frios is another local,
Yes.
a local, I know the king cake popsicle, Frios Pop,
They do.
which, depending on the weather, I think for that one.
Yeah. And we would love to have them as well. We have been in talks with them every year. Their issue is sample size. They have
Yeah,
a
that's
whole
true.
pop. Yeah, but theirs are fantastic.
Yep. All right, good. One more, I think, of Rennie's Honey Butter. I know you know Meredith.
She is fantastic.
And she does the king cake. She does the king cake honey butter.
King cake honey butter. Yes, and she brought last year. She had the bread that you could sample the butter with. It is a beautiful marriage. She does a fantastic job with all of her honey butters. But yeah. Rennie's honey butter for sure.
She's good.
Okay, I did not get to taste that one last year. That is at the top of my list this year.
Yeah. Yeah, you got to try that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that one was going to win.
She did win.
Okay.
And so our virtual year, our COVID year,
Okay.
2021, I guess is when that would have been. She did. She took home non-traditional.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. She does a good job.
Yeah, she's amazing.
All right. That's all I've got. Can y'all think of anything else?
Oh man, we just want to say thank you again to PNC for helping us bring this event to Mobile and let it be the premier event for Mardi Gras. Get it kicked off right.
Yep. I'm excited.
And it's not too late to join in. Come on, sign up, be a vendor.
Yep. We're going to sign up January 27th, 5 o'clock, Mobile Civic Center. I'll be there. I'm going to buy my tickets now.
Rain or shine, it's inside. I mean, it's going to be great.
Yep.
Whether it's 80
It doesn't matter what the weather is.
30 or...
Yep.
We're going to have a great time.
I'm excited. All right. So one more time, kingcakeoff.com is where we can go. Support Big Brothers, Big Sisters. All right. I'm excited. Thank y'all for coming on the show today and coming on the podcast.
Chris.
All right. Thank y'all for listening to the Port City Plate podcast. You can always subscribe to our podcast anywhere you like podcasts, Apple, Spotify, Amazon, all the places. And you can also go follow our Facebook group, Port City Plate. And I'll be sharing, of course, about the King Cake Off, and we will definitely be posting a lot about King Cake over the next few months in the Port City Plate Facebook group. So until then, we'll see y'all in the next episode.